Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rob Thacker. I'm the music director here at St. John's, and it's wonderful to be here with you this morning. We're going to start by singing our gathering hymn for this month, which is Weave, connected to our pledge drive. And hopefully you all have the music, because the verses are, shall we say, a little bit challenging, even for me. And I've practiced them, and I hope I got all the words right, but no promises today. No promises. But please rise in body or spirit, and we do ask that at the end you please return it so that we can use it all month long. Please join me in singing Weave.
Weave us together in
Please join me in the chalice lighting reading, Building Trust by Rev. Jenn, Gracen. In these chaotic and uncertain times, it can be hard to remember who we are, to whom we belong. As we light this chalice, may we find hope in the unknown, the strength to build trust and community in one another. Good morning and welcome to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Glasscott and I'll serve as your worship associate this morning. Regardless of your background, regardless of your present day and all it involves, you are welcome here with us. We are all uniquely different, and we at St. John's value and treasure that concept. The folks who sit to your right and to your left, in front and behind, are committed to building a community that is based on love, respect, and trust. Finding places where trust is encouraged and valued is becoming more difficult with every passing day. St. John's, though, is just such a community. Trust me. It is our first service in March, a month that typically shows us all the power of Mother Nature. Warm, cold, hot, rain, snow, sleet, windy, calm, and I could go on, especially in Cincinnati. The old in like a lion and out like a lamb. We at St. John's are actually more concerned about the climate of our country and our world than the actual weather. We trust that on this morning, you share that concern too, and that's why you're here. Again, welcome. We are happy you chose to spend your Sunday morning with us, and just a reminder to please put your cell phone in church mode.
Please rise and bow to your spirit, and we'll sing hymn 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. We'll just sing it through 3 times.
Soul will unfold.
Please join me in our affirmation. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands.
Sharing our joys and concerns is a sacred time in our worship together. It is a recognition that our whole self matters. The joys, the sorrows, the delights, the worries, all that we bring into this room. Here we honor our joys and concerns by coming forward to place stones representing what we carry into the sand that represents our beloved community. If you would like a joy or concern to be read, please leave them on the table. And if you're joining us online, please enter a joy or concern in the chat, and we will read them from the pulpit. And we light the candle to represent all that has been shared by these stones and all that remains in our hearts. We have one spoken joy today. Shannon says, my brother, she's joining us online, she says, my brother and his husband are officially foster parents. We definitely need more of that. Thank you. I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation with these words by Reverend Lynn Cox. Spirit of life, ancestor of the stars and the sun, you who embrace the vastness of space and us along with it, be with us today. Hold us in our worry, our exhaustion, our grief. Keep us close as we sit with our truth, whatever that may be. Lead us to rest in the quiet, to find solace and renewal in this time of shifting light and dark. You whose arms open with the spinning galaxies, help us to make room for all that is. Open our hearts to our loved ones, our neighbors, the beings with whom we share this planet. Lead us to reach out to others in compassion. Turn us toward one another in mercy, right relationship, and reconciliation. You who have seen the rising and setting of suns, of seasons, of civilizations, remind us of all that we have learned from the history of the world and from our own histories. Give us the courage to face our mistakes and to repair them whenever possible. Help us to understand our interdependence, our gravitational relatedness with all the other spinning lives around us, and lead us to treat those relationships with care. In this space filled with the people among us who shine like stars, this space filled with the sparkle of love and care, we give thanks for this moment to be together. May our senses be open to the beauty of this day, this season, this world. I invite you into a few moments of silence. Blessed be. I want to invite, we have another concern. Marie says, please send healing wishes for my childhood friend Marjorie, who's taken a turn for the worse and is back in the hospital after a brief stay in rehab. We will keep Marjorie in our hearts. Thank you, Monica. I want to invite Preston to share our time for all. They are going to share our time for all ages today.
Thank you.
Use the handheld mic if you want.
Oh, it's good. I need the podium. This is called Mishmash Heart, and it's by Lynn Ungar and Michelle Richards. Recently, at a multi-generational event at a Unitarian Universalist congregation, everyone was encouraged to create a heart. They were given some construction paper and some glue and some markers to design their heart. Emily, worked diligently to create the most perfect, beautiful heart she could. It even had glitter in the shape of diamonds around the outside. As she was helping to clean up after the event, she noticed the heart of one woman who was around the same age as her grandmother, sitting at a nearby table. It was a mishmash mess of odd colors and had pieces which were ripped and torn, glued haphazardly upon it. Parts of it were wrinkled and crinkled, and there was even a little hole in it. Thinking must be something wrong, Emily offered to help the woman fix her heart. But the woman merely smiled and explained that there was nothing wrong with her heart. It merely revealed all the things which had happened to her in her life. She said there were happy times here, and the beautiful colors and designs represented when she first met her husband, their wedding, and the birth of each of their 3 children. There were other beautiful parts too, which stood for watching her children taking their first steps on their own, riding a bike for the first time, and graduating from college. But what about all the rips and tears and wrinkles? Emily asked. Why are they there? These were for the sad times in her life, the woman explained. The time her best friend was stricken with measles, the time someone lied or did something to hurt her feelings, and the hole was left when her husband died. In fact, every time a person comes into my life that I care about, she explained, they take a piece of my heart with them. This was distressing to Emily, thinking of the woman having to give parts of her heart away to others. But what happens if you give it all away? She asked. You'll be left with nothing. No, I won't, the woman responded. Because you see, they gave me a piece of theirs as well. Emily looked down at her beautiful, perfect heart with the glitter and the designs she worked so hard to make. Then she looked again at the woman's mishmash heart with the jagged colors, rips, and wrinkles. Without hesitation, Emily ripped a piece off of her own perfect heart and handed it to the woman. Thank you, the woman said as she placed it with her mishmash heart and tore off a piece to hand to Emily.
We have our pledge moment.
Okay. It's pledge moment time, everybody. It's time to pledge. Oh, Eleanor, will you grab the little envelope that's in my hymn book? So my name's Brennan. My wife Jennifer and I have been members. Just wave it around. We've been members here for several years, and we make the pledge every year. And I've been asked to do a little message for the pledge. So there are a couple of kind of bullet points about the process for the pledge that I've got to get to. But the one thing I want to do is just talk about how the pledge works for us. So we figure out how much money we can give to the church, and then we write a check. And we budget it out like we do other things. And then we try to pay just once a year. We write a little check, and we know that we've taken care of it. And this has engendered a small controversy in our household. Because, we come here every other week, at least once a month, and there's a little plate that goes around. And the children want to know, well, why are we giving twice? No, okay, what do you want to know, Jack? It's mostly Jack. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I invited them to come up here with me. They said, no, we don't want to do that. But so I asked on the way here, I said, well, why do you think that we also give when the plate goes around? Jack, can I tell them your answer? Because we feel guilty. Eleanor, do you want to say yours? I can. Because we care about our church. And I had to think about mine. And, it's nice to be able to find that you can give a little more. Like, I just was on my way here to church. I was like, oh, do I have cash? Oh, I have $3. Oh, good. Good, I can give more. And just as important to me as the stones or anything else here or staring at the sculpture is knowing that I'm going to have a chance to remember that I can give a little more. Because all of us, we just have to do that. You know, when we do, things for those around us get a little bit better and we get a little bit better. So that's my main plug for putting in to making your pledge, getting it in, because then every week you can have that little opportunity to just give a little more. And it's like a little bonus to yourself and a little reminder that throughout the week you're going to have a chance to give a little more. And so that's my little pledge moment. I know I only have 5 minutes. I also have some technical things to share, which is that everyone should have an envelope in their name out in the lobby. That's the one that, you can wave it if you've got it. And if you haven't check outside with Joetta, and I forget who else is out there. You can also use the QR code, which is those funky little black and white pictures. And it's this one here is the same one that's in the hallway on the pillars as you walk in to the hall here. You can take a little picture with your camera and it'll send you to the page. There is going to be a St. John's website with all the information and all the forms. And every Sunday between now and April 6th, the pledge team will happily answer your questions. I'm not on the pledge team. So find someone else to answer your questions. And then the last thing I want to say is don't be like us, make your pledge and get it in, because it really does. It's very time consuming for people to call you and say, hey, did you get your pledge in? So make your pledge, get it in, and then remember that it's still okay to give every Sunday that you're here, a little extra. Thank you all.
Our Split the Plate recipient this month is Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Good morning. I'm Ann Septic, and I'm a member of the St. John's Outreach Committee, and I have the honor this morning of introducing the representatives from Sleep in Heavenly Peace. This is Todd Foreman and Carrie Satarski, and they're going to tell you a little bit more about their organization.
So thanks for having us today. I'm actually a high school teacher, taught middle school much of my life, and I used to give out bonus bucks to kids for bonus points. So today when the plate comes around, they're bonus bucks, right? In fact, I received a phone call from a young lady who's now living in Boston. She's 45 years old. She's teaching math, and she still has her bonus bucks. So kind of crazy. So anyway, well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate time. We'll just take a few minutes. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a nonprofit organization, national nonprofit organization. Has anybody ever heard of them before? Wow, how about that? Yeah, Carrie and I we're all volunteer, at least since all the chapter levels are volunteer. There's about 350 chapters around the country, and the mission is pretty simple. We build, and then we deliver beds to kids who need beds. So pretty basic, it's not complicated. It's bigger than this bed. This is a sample bed. This bed was made by we have some retirees that are very crafty, and we've been giving these out as kind of donations to organizations that work with us and sponsor builds. But we build the beds because there's a need. There's lots and lots of kids right here in this area, in Hamilton County, Northern Kentucky, all around the country, sleeping on the floor every night. And one of my favorite quotes has always been, "Without sleep, we are all tall 2-year-olds." I learned that many, many years ago when I used to work at the drop-in center. You remember the drop-in center downtown? I know it's changed. And I'm volunteering in the alcoholic recovery. They had a sign that said, "Without sleep, we are all tall 2-year-olds." And it stuck with me. But yeah, we do it by using volunteers. Lots of people from all ages. I think we've had anywhere from age 7 to age probably 87 build beds with us. We do that through corporate sponsorships. A corporate organization or a church will decide to host a bed build and pay for the beds that we build. And then we also have a warehouse in Newtown. It's currently where we're situated, although she lives in Westchester, so she's not real happy about being all the way. If you don't know where Newtown is, it's a hike from Westchester. But we do that. We started last January. We built 250 beds last year. We've delivered another 100 and something this year. We'll probably deliver 600 or 700 this year. And we have over 400 and something kids on the wait list right now. So obviously, we don't do this just because we want to give beds to kids. There's a need. Carrie, you want to explain why kids need beds?
Sure. So like Todd said, we have about 175 families on the wait list right now for over 450 beds. A lot of the reasons we see are just kids are sleeping on the floor, they're sleeping on a mattress, they build pallets out of pillows on the floor. We've delivered to grandmas who have received emergency custody of their kids. We have one that we're delivering in March where they had a fire and they lost everything. We also receive referrals through different agencies and through Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So there's definitely a need out there. We actually delivered a bed 2 weeks ago, and I texted my daughter because we were 4 minutes from my daughter's best friend's house when we made the delivery. And when you think about kids sleeping on the floor, you don't think about it that's happening right in your own community, and kids at your school or on that you encounter throughout at the grocery store or whatever are sleeping on the floor every night. We delivered to that family, and the one daughter was sleeping in a recliner chair in the living room, and the other daughter, she was a granddaughter, was sleeping with her grandma. So we were really happy to be able to provide a bunk bed for them. I do want to mention that we have an upcoming delivery on March 16th. On Sunday, March 16th, it'll be between 12 and 3 o'clock. We're looking for volunteers that would like to help deliver those beds to us or with us. So if you're interested, definitely reach out. We have a website. It's shpcincy.org. You can find all the information about ways to volunteer, donate, and contribute, and just be a part of our organization. Thank you for having us, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We hope that you'll check us out. It's shpcincy.org. I know your phones are in church mode, whatever that is. That's pretty cool, actually. I was looking for the button. I'm like, church mode. I see airplane. I don't see a church. But yeah, so anyway, we're happy to have you join us in any way that you like. So thank you all. And thanks to Ann. Our beds come disassembled. Actually, technically, they do come disassembled, so this is perfect. Although it wasn't supposed to be. Sorry.
Just an example of why they might need a bed. It fell apart. Thank you. We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Thank you for your gifts to St. John's and to the world.
Thank you, Stephen. And I just want to point out, the By Variamus, that's him, right? So thank you, Stephen. We're now going to sing hymn 307, The Human Touch Can Light the Flame. And because it's one we don't sing super often and is a little tricky, I'm going to have ask Stephen to play it through one time so you get the rhythms in mind before we sing. Please rise and body your spirit. 307, The Human Touch Can Light the Flame.
Our reading today is by Sue Ferguson, and it is titled Helpers, Teachers, and Angels. And it starts with a quote from James Hillman. It is impossible to see the angel unless you first have a notion of it. Trust is critical to progress on a spiritual path, but it doesn't come easily for some of us. I learned a little bit about it while I was living in Japan. Returning to Japan from a work trip to the States was often a harrowing 24-hour ordeal. But on this trip, I had missed my usual bus ride from Tokyo to my home and needed to take the train. It was almost midnight when I got to the mammoth Shinjuku station, and the last train was just about ready to leave. Navigating a foreign metro train station can be daunting, but this time my fatigue must have given me a deer-in-the-headlights look because as I was gazing at the confusing train board, a man came up to me and he asked in perfect English where I was going. When I told him that I needed the Odaku line, he immediately grabbed my rather large suitcase and began heading off into the depths of the station. Was this a good idea, I wondered? Can I trust him? In my exhaustion, I followed the stranger to the correct train, where he rushed forward without me. Well, I've lost my suitcase for sure, I thought to myself, but kept going and realized that he had rushed in order to secure a seat for me and a place for my suitcase on that practically full last train. With a slight bow, he backed off the train, and that was the last I ever saw of him. His act of kindness and compassion left a lasting impression on me. To this day, I think of that stranger as an angel, effortlessly moving me along the path that I needed to follow it at a time when I might not have been able to do it myself. The memory reminds me that if I'm not cultivating an open heart and watching for those helpers, the teachers, and the angels, I may miss them when I need them the most.
Mary Oliver says it well. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. I love this poem for a lot of reasons, but I feel like it speaks to Universalist theology. Our Universalist ancestors were the ones that told us we did not have to be good or walk on our knees for 100 miles to be loved, to be saved. They said no one is damned to hell. And yes, maybe there are days when you might wish even just a little that wasn't the case, when maybe the hope for punishment for some people might be reassuring. But I do believe that most of the time it's a comfort to know that people, you and I, and even whoever you might have been thinking about, can be loved no matter our mistakes. That we can try to be better people, that we can do good just because it's important to do good, to be trustworthy, to be kind, to raise up the people in our lives. There's a quote by Rumi that was also turned into one of the songs in our hymnals that exemplifies this theology. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come, yet again, come. You can try again. You can mess up. You can apologize. You can make amends. You can try again. In the Christian tradition, this week marks the start of the Lenten season. It's a season of acknowledging our broken vows, our mistakes, our limitations, and seeking to repent, to turn around, to try again. Not necessarily to avoid punishment, although yes, there are some Christian traditions that teach that, but our Universalist ancestors didn't believe that. They taught that we repent and try again because we are deeply loved, not in order to earn love. So why am I bringing this up here and now? Well, today's sermon is about becoming trustworthy. And as I was reading and reflecting and writing this week, it occurred to me that in order to become trustworthy people, we sometimes have to first acknowledge the ways in which we haven't been. And that's hard to face if we fear such acknowledgement would mean we aren't worthy of love or community, or that even worse, we might deserve damnation. But we are Unitarian Universalists, and we needn't fear that. Thank goodness. Because the world needs people who are ready to engage in the work of becoming trustworthy. In this challenging landscape, we find that people trust one another and institutions less than we ever have. I feel like we say that every year. Less than 1/3 of adults believe most people can be trusted. Are the other 2/3 right? Are most of us untrustworthy? What may make a person trustworthy anyway? Brené Brown identifies one important component of trustworthiness: being a vault. Being someone who will not share private stories or share criticism of other people behind their back. When we are building trust with someone, and when we are becoming trustworthy ourselves, we need to know that our confidences are being kept and that our friends are on our side even when we're not there. Brené Brown uses the imagery of a vault because there's only one door to a vault. If the door is open right now, there's no reason to believe the vault is trustworthy at any time. When we share someone else's stories, when we gossip about another person, when we criticize them in their absence, we're teaching those we are speaking to that we are not to be trusted with their confidences either. Our vault door isn't secure. If you'll gossip with me about this person, what would stop you from gossiping with them about me? But it's hard. It's hard. When we're in community together, it can be hard to navigate decisions about what to say and what not to say. We tell ourselves that others deserve to know, or that we're just trying to help, or we're just seeking support. And sometimes we're right. But we have to get really good about being honest with ourselves here. Was there any other way to help? Is there something else motivating that speech? Sharing information about others can make us feel good. And when it comes to sharing negative things, gossip or criticism, it feels like bonding. But it's an untrustworthy relationship built on what Brown calls common enemy intimacy, which is a way to feel quickly connected with another person. But it's a false connection in the end because it decreases the trust we have in others and ourselves. Nearly every religious tradition teaches some form of the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think that part of becoming trustworthy is asking ourselves, are we speaking of others in the way we would want them to speak of us, even if we're not there? That doesn't mean we avoid talking about important issues. If you're concerned about something that someone does or says, ask them what happened for them. Find out what they were thinking or feeling. Be compassionate and direct with one another so that in every relationship you have, the other person knows where they stand with you. They'll know they can trust you not only to keep their confidences, but to be honest about your concerns. And when we learn to do this consistently, we increase not only trust in each other, but also trust in ourselves. Trust that we can do hard things. Trust that we can have hard conversations. Trust that we can live out our values, even with those we dislike or with whom we disagree. This ability to trust ourselves, to live with integrity, is essential in building community. Author and activist Daniel Hunter points out that trust in oneself and trust in others are two key principles for remaining grounded and connected in times of political instability and growing authoritarianism. As the world around us becomes more chaotic, we have to find ways to build smaller, tighter communities of connection and trust. Now, I'm preaching to the choir on that one, as those of you who are here today already know the value of small communities. It's why many of us join a church. In times of chaos and dissension, when we might want to pull back to take care only of ourselves and become isolated, we need to do the opposite. We need to take the risk of building connection and trust. We need to do the hard work of ensuring we are worthy of trust, our own and the trust of others. We need to become more like the angel helper Sue found in our reading today, people who can be trusted even when there's no reason to do so. And beyond that, we need to be trustworthy, even when the other person has no idea we're doing it. My beloved spiritual companions, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. We're living in a difficult time, and we need one another. We need to build communities of trust, love, and hope. And together, we can grow to be even more of the people we need to be for one another right now. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. I'm going to invite you into our continuing experiment of greeting your neighbor. Now, here's your prompt for today. Use it or don't. If you had, and keep it family friendly. If you had a parrot, what would you teach it to say? I'm going to invite you to bring your conversations to a close so we can bring the service to a close.
We have a couple of announcements. In your order of service, just the men's group. The men's group will meet tonight from 6 to 8, and it's a potluck dinner. The AED class, Sunday, March the 9th, is right after service. Read more about the details. Book discussion on tyranny on most Monday evenings at 7 o'clock with Reverend Jenn. And again, information is there. First meeting will be on March 3rd. Together Weaving Our Future is the theme of the annual pledge campaign for our operating budget, which I'll turn over right now. No, not right now. Carol, you're standing there. And I'm not sure what Carol's going to share, but we'll see.
Well, in that case.
Hi. We were supposed to have an insert with this picture in your bulletin, but because of an accident, that didn't happen. And so this is a reminder that we're going to be having a discussion here at the church 2 weeks from yesterday, March 15th, on authentic selves. Most of us would like to be able to be our own selves, to be who we really are, to be authentic. This is stories of people who are trans or non-binary and their families and what it's been like. And there are many, many different stories. I would encourage you to try to get a hold of this book. You can get a paperback, you can get it on Kindle, or you can get an audiobook. There are lots of different ways to do it. And even if you can only read part of it before the 15th, please come and share with us on Saturday morning between 10 and 12. The announcement will be in next week's order of service, but in order for you to be able to get the book, I'm reminding you today, and you can see me after church, okay?
Thanks, Carol. Joetta and Matt have a few words about the board.
Yeah. So, does everybody remember what's happening today? Some people do. Yeah, the big discussion with the Both And team. First of all, everybody who's here, who's a member of the Both And team, stand up if you would. Okay, and there's some some in the back, all around. Okay, great. And there's some who are online, I know. So there are 18 of us who've been meeting since October, and we want to talk to you today about how we can address both our wishes for the church facility and our needs that we have for our church building, and how we can do that in a fiscally possible way. So Matt is going to lead the discussion today with information, and then we will break into small groups. It's going to be really important, and you're going to learn a lot, so I hope you'll stay. And if you plan to stay, we're even going to feed you. So in Crow Pfeiffer, we have a taco bar set up. If you plan to stay, please have something to eat. We don't want you to come hangry to this meeting. So have a taco or a wrap, a burrito, whatever kind of thing. And then join us here. We'll turn the Zoom on at 12:45. That's the plan, and those online can participate. The Zoom link is in the e-news from Tuesday, and you can participate in the discussion and the whole presentation online too. So if you need to go home and do that, you can still do that too. So Matt, we're ready to tell about our work, and it's going to be really interesting. So thanks.
Stephen has something to share.
Well, just a reminder, this Saturday at 7 p.m. is the opera Forward into Light, featuring some of the chorus from our choir. It's free to the public and is hosted by the League of Women Voters. So please come and bring your ears. It's here at 7 p.m. on March 8th.
It's composed by Stephen.
Yes.
Thank you. Just one last thing. Many of you attended the Spirit Connection team first potluck in February, and I know you had a good time because I was there and I saw it. So on your calendar now, Friday, April the 11th, and you will hear a lot more about it, but we are having our second potluck, and this is a live music dance party that will be with our potluck. And you do not want to miss this. This is going to be superb.
Please rise and bow to your spirit, and we'll sing our closing hymn, Now Let Us Sing. us sing. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, lift up. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within.
May we be vulnerable enough, may we be brave enough to build trust with ourselves and each other, and in doing so, transform our communities. Go in peace, go in love.